Hi everyone, so today I am with property lawyer Khun Sirichot to discuss how to protect your property ownership rights in Thailand as a foreigner so that you can rest assured that your investment in Thailand is protected by the law and that no one can take it away from you. Khun Sirichot has helped expats successfully and legitimately acquire, protect, and pass on their property in Thailand for over 14 years now, and you too can utilize his services by seeing the link in the video description or go to jetgunther.com. Khun Sirichot, thank you so much for coming on here for episode 2 in our discussion.
My pleasure.
Yeah, the first one was excellent, and if you haven't seen it yet, you can go check it out on my channel. It was really informative. So let's start with giving some newcomers an overview about how foreigners can legitimately own property in Thailand.
Okay, if we are talking about condominium unit, it can be either freehold or leasehold.
Okay.
But if we are talking about land and house, it could be like the lease agreement, leasehold. But if you want to have like freehold, like ownership, you may not be able to have it here in Thailand like as if you can do in Western country.
Okay, great. Let's just briefly elaborate on the condominium here. So foreigners can own condos in Thailand freehold, correct?
Yeah, yes.
What are the conditions for that? Because there is a quota, right?
Sure. Okay, for condominium purchase in Thailand, the foreign quota in that condominium building or the project must not exceed 49%. There are some, just a few projects that they have sold more than 49%, and usually those projects will be located in Phuket or maybe some in Pattaya, and then a few here in Bangkok. Not many. I don't think there will be more than 10 or 20 projects that they have exceed 49%.
If you're not familiar with that, foreign quota is basically foreigners can own up to 49% of the total livable square meter in the condo.
Yes.
So once you reach that, then the rest, 51%, needs to be owned by a Thai.
Yes.
But within that 49%, you can sell it to other foreigners.
Yes.
Or even Thai people. Thai people can buy up the foreign quota.
The other one is you must check with the agent or the developer from the beginning whether they sell this freehold or leasehold.
Yes.
Yeah. So
because there's some properties where the land, even the developer is not the owner of the land, and they're leasing it from someone else.
Yes.
And it's almost like they're subleasing it to the person. There's a few of those here in Bangkok.
Especially in Ratchadamri area.
Yeah.
Or maybe like on the riverside somewhere, for example, like Four Seasons.
Right. Yeah. So number one, check if you can own it freehold, right? If the developer actually owns it and they can sell it to you freehold, and that there is foreign quote available to you within that condominium.
Yes.
If all these conditions are met, is it correct to say that you have the right to own this property into perpetuity? Own the title deed?
Yeah, ใช่ครับ
Are your rights the same as a Thai owner in that condo? Same. Exact same. Great. Now, in terms of landed property, you cannot own it freehold, but you can lease it up to 30 years.
Yes.
Okay. And that's very similar to like renting long term, right? Is it correct to say that within those 30-year lease, if I abide by the lease agreement, basically I have the right to use that property for the full time, uninterrupted?
ใช่ครับ Yes.
So those are some legitimate ways that foreigners can own property in Thailand where the rights are completely protected. And so, okay, people are still asking about land, right? Because there's not only the leasehold way, there's also like via company ownership and all like that. Now, there is like some gray area ways, but what are some legitimate ways that you can own it via a company?
Okay, legitimate way would be like BOI, but I mean the
Board of Investment.
Yeah, the Board of Investment Promotion. So from now on, I will call it BOI.
BOI.
Yeah. So if your company or your business meet the requirement of the BOI, normally this business will be like innovation and technology pharmacy, like pharmaceutical industry, or it could be like a big factory. But if you are looking to do or to run a normal business like restaurant, pub, bar, or guest house, you wouldn't be able to obtain the BOI certificate. So in order to get the BOI is quite difficult by itself. So your main intention is not to set up a company to buy land and house, but your main intention is to do business in Thailand, and then using that business or a company, a BOI company to buy land is just a privilege, like add on. Yeah, but still you need to like meet their requirements, and then you have to fulfill their requirements every year.
Yeah.
Because once you got like the BOI promotion, it doesn't mean that you are like you can do whatever. There will be like a stage or progress or KPI or something like that you have to follow. So you have to meet their requirements every year or every 5 years, depending on your business and what you have presented to the BOI office. So for using that company, you can own land. You can own some lands in a certain area, especially in the nearest area to your factory or your main business or main office, something like that. That is legal, but it's not easy.
Yeah, it sounds like it's not something that most people are able to pursue. That being said, I actually know a friend, he's French, and he has a company that's established in Thailand for a long time, and he's used this company to acquire property in Got Samui. But that's because he's been running this company for 10 years, and recently he wants to do that. That's his situation. But to set up a company just to own property, that's kind of a gray area.
And someone may ask me about the Amity Treaty.
Yes.
Can they use like Amity Treaty company to buy land and house?
So the Treaty of Amity is available for Americans, where you can set up a company. So in Thailand, if you want to set up a Thai company, you can only own up to 49% of it, and the other 51% needs to be owned by a Thai shareholders. But under the Treaty of Amity for US citizens, they can set up a Thai company with 100% ownership. So some people are asking, well, can I do this and own property 100% with this Treaty of Amity company? So what do you say with that?
No, you cannot.
Okay.
You cannot, because as long as you own a foreigner own 100%, you cannot use that company to buy land in Thailand. The land officer will determine that this company is a foreign company. They don't determine that this is a Thai entity. So you cannot use this Amity Treaty to buy land in Thailand.
To come back to the theme of this video about how to protect your property rights, the thing is like, a lot of people own property via these gray area, but then when there is an issue, you cannot uphold it in court. Like your rights are not actually protected in court, right? Because you're doing something that's a little not within the realm of the law. But ownership structures where your rights are protected by the law are freehold in the condo under the foreign quota, leasehold of a house up to 30 years as long as you fulfill the agreements of the lease, and company ownership provided that you have a legitimate company that's these three ways are fully protected by the law.
Yes.
That's great. All right. Let's now talk about how to own property in Thailand with a Thai spouse, because this comes up a lot. Maybe I put it in my Thai wife's name, or there's a joint ownership way. So we'll talk about what your rights are as a foreigner and how you can protect yourself and issues to be aware of. So Khun Sirichot, as a lawyer, what is your overall advice on owning property with a Thai spouse?
So my advice to you, first, not to register the marriage.
First advice is to not get married. Wow, that's a shock to some people.
And then secondly is you must look for a good and reliable wife.
How do I know this? Can you help me? Do due diligence on my wife.
Due diligence.
Maybe as a service in the future. Okay. Okay. Don't get married, but if you do, get a good wife or husband.
Yeah.
But if you really want, if you get a prenuptial.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Have a prenuptial drafted before you register a marriage, okay, in Thailand. I mean, unless you come with like you're broke and then you want to plan to be broke, so you don't need to have. There's no point to have prenuptial agreement.
I don't think your Thai wife wants to marry you if you're broke.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you have some assets and you plan to have more assets in the future, I think prenuptial agreement is necessary to have before you register the marriage in Thailand. So if you don't have prenuptial agreement register, in principle, I would say in principle, they would say that everything before the marriage will be deemed as your personal property, and then anything that you own after the marriage will be deemed as marital property. So not just property and assets, is also including debts.
Debts.
ใช่ so it will be like common debts ใช่ครับ
This is without a prenuptial agreement.
ใช่ครับ so you should have a prenuptial agreement. Okay, if you don't have, then this will be an issue. So you should plan carefully before, like when you should buy property.
That's without a prenuptial.
Okay.
With a prenuptial, what are some ways that you can structure a prenuptial that best is to your advantage and protects your rights to the maximum as a foreigner?
Okay, so if you have not yet registered the marriage, then you can set up an arrangement or agreement with your future wife. Could be like lease agreement between her and you, like she owns the property and then she lease the land and the house to you, or she owns the property and then she register the usufruct to you, or she owns the property and then have the loan agreement and register the mortgage at the land office. In case you register the loan agreement and the mortgage agreement at the land office, you will get your money back, according to the loan agreement, right? So this is before register the marriage, and it doesn't have to be part of the prenuptial agreement.
That's basically an agreement with your girlfriend.
Your girlfriend.
Which is the equivalent of just an agreement with another Thai person.
ใช่ครับ
Right?
ใช่
Okay, so how about within the prenuptial? What can you do?
Within the prenuptial agreement, you can also mention about your personal property and your salary. Like once you register the marriage, your salary will be your salary, or it will be like common property between husband and wife. Yeah. And the like if you have some properties overseas or in Thailand, and the income from the rent will be the personal property, or it will becomes like common property. And how about the debts in the future? Like what if your wife has some debts in the future? It will be deemed as common debts or not. What it will be determined as personal property and personal and marital property.
I see. So you can specify what assets, what incomes, and what debts are shared and what are not.
ใช่
So let's say, now this is advice to me too, because I'm nervous about getting married. I need your reassurance that it's all going to be okay. So let's say I include in a prenup that my income is mine. What if then I take this income that is mine and I buy property with it? Would it be my property, or has to be default shared property then?
Can specify that in the prenuptial agreement.
I see.
Yeah, like what will be the personal property, what will be marital property.
Okay.
ครับ Ken
Wow.
Yeah.
So you can get really nuanced in this. Can you give us some examples of like some past clients that you've advised on how they've structured their situation? Just because we might not know what to think about. So are you able to give some examples about some agreements that you've made in general?
I mean, first of all, you need to check about your country first before doing the prenuptial agreement, whether the prenuptial agreement is enforceable in your country law, the law of your nationality. Because some country, they may not accept the prenuptial agreement concept. So we need to check first whether it's enforceable in your country of law of your nationality. And then secondly, whether you will be comfortable to declare what are your assets at that time, because you have to list all what you have to prove that this is your personal assets, right? And what are your debts. So if you're comfortable to provide this detail, then we can determine after that, like, okay, this will become as personal property and remains personal property even after the divorce, or even after the marriage. So what is the common things that my clients will ask would be like, how can they keep that privacy? Like they want to keep their personal property remains theirs, and then the profit or interest or fruit of their personal property remains theirs, and then they can decide later whether they want to give some to the wife in the future.
Right.
So this is normal question that my clients is looking for. Yeah.
And it makes sense, right? Because it's like some people, they want the assurance that whether they are able to, whether they want to give or share property with their significant other or the rest of their family where their kids are not, they want it to be their decision instead of like some default decision by the court where it's like 50-50 or like that. And they want to be protected because you often hear about this like, oh, I bought property under my Thai wife's name and then we divorced or she left me. And then all that money I used to buy the house for her, it's gone and she owns the house now. What did these people do wrong and what could they have done differently?
Because most of them, they don't have an arrangement or agreement before they register the marriage. So they just put everything in their wife's name without consulted to a proper lawyer. And then they just like leave everything to the wife, and the wife, one of the issue here, like the wife, their background or their family have some debts and she has to support her family and then use the fund or use the house as a collateral to support their family. And it might also be the case that the wife addicted to gamble, and then they play cards or they play card games, something like that, and they lose, and then they use the property and sell.
Right.
That's usually happen.
Yeah, and then you have no legal protection because you just bought it and it's under her name, right?
Yeah, it's quite difficult to say when it's gone, right? It's gone already. So even if you file a case against her, there's no money left.
Slowly, then suddenly.
I'm so sorry, but you should meet with a lawyer before. Otherwise, if you want to buy a house in her name, it should be less than 5% of your total assets.
Yeah,
and then you
it's
can
something
live,
that
this is just like a gift to her.
Sure. So we talked about the prenup in the beginning about how to basically structure the terms of how the assets are divided and whose is whose. Now, post-marriage, what are some ways that you can structure joint ownership with your spouse? We just talked about one here where you just buy it as a gift. You go to the land office and you sign a consent form that the money, even though it's yours, it's still her house and she has full rights over it. Are there any other ways that you can structure joint ownership of property with your Thai spouse?
Jointly, I would say not really.
Not really.
Yeah, not really.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can put the ownership of the land and house into your kids' name.
If they have Thai citizenship.
Yeah. But the issue is, if the kid is a minor, like age below 20, I mean legal age in Thailand is 20 years old,
Yeah.
then they cannot sell the property or dispose the property in whatsoever mean. They cannot register the lease to you for more than 3 years. They cannot register any agreement for you. If one day you want to sell the house when your kids are minor, that's become a problem
I see.
because they cannot sell.
Yeah.
They cannot sell, and you cannot force them to sell. You either have to wait until they are 20 above, or you need to get like permission from the court, and the court will see the case like, what is necessary for the kids to sell this property.
So that's in the case of a house. Okay, what about condos? Because you have more rights as a foreigner with condos.
If you purchase the condo, if you don't have the prenuptial agreement, right, it will be deemed as marital property. Yeah, even if you pay 100%.
But with a prenuptial agreement, can you? You can own a condo and it's yours.
Yes, if you have a prenuptial agreement specifying that.
Okay. So it sounds like you have to be think about everything in the prenuptial agreement. Very critical. The most important document of your life.
Otherwise, you don't have to register the marriage.
Oh, true.
Yeah, you just like live together and then just
as individuals.
Yeah, as individual.
Yeah.
And then when you have kids for maybe like 5 years, 7 years, you just think about your kids, then the future of your kids, and you want your kids to have like your citizenship.
Yeah.
Then it might be the time that you can think about the register the marriage and the prenuptial agreement.
I see.
All
right. Nice. So let's.
Sounds scary, right?
Is it scary?
It sounds scary.
It sounds scary. Okay, let's talk about divorce here in the in the case that it does happen. So can you give us an overview about how property is distributed in the event of a divorce?
Okay, it depends on how you divorce. Like you agree to divorce or you fight for divorce. Right. If you agree to divorce, then
so that's case number one. Let's just say husband wife. We're like,
no, we cannot go.
Yeah, we don't love each other anymore, but it's okay. Let's just divorce and be nice to each other.
Yes.
So that's the first way. So how will things pan out in that way?
Yeah, in that case, you should check again your law of nationality whether you can divorce under your country's law. For example, like in some countries like the Philippines, they don't allow divorce, whether like mutual consent of the parties or like by court judgment. In that case, you cannot divorce, right? Or maybe some countries, they don't accept like mutual consent of divorce. They have to go through court only. Even both parties want to divorce.
I see.
ใช่ครับ There are some countries like that.
So you need to check first.
ใช่
But in Thailand, it allows for mutual consensual divorce.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You can just go to the district office with the divorce agreement, like how to arrange the marital property, how to divide, how to distribute. It doesn't have to be 50-50 on everything. You can trade like, okay, you can have, the wife have the house and the husband has the condo, and some bank, some monies in the funds will go to the wife to support the family or to support her living, like cost of living for a few years or 5 years, something like that. It could be done, including like how to share custodianship or guardianship or parental power to the children. You can determine in the divorce agreement.
Okay, that sounds good. What if the second
like you
scenario?
Like the parties cannot like consent to divorce, right? Then we have
What do you mean by that? One person does not want to divorce?
Like the foreigner want to divorce.
I see.
The wife doesn't want to divorce.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens there?
Then the one who wants to divorce will have to prove the case and then find ground for divorce.
This is by Thai law.
ใช่
Okay.
Yeah, you have to find grounds that why you want to divorce.
Okay.
And then is this possible under Thai law or not? For example, like she has affair, like adultery. Yeah, or she just disappear, like separate for more than 3 years, or she is a criminal. She's like in prison for more than 3 years. Something like that. Yeah, or she like a drug dealer, addicted to like drugs and cannot like raise your kids properly.
Right.
These are the grounds for divorce.
What about, let's say, gambling or getting into too much debt? Is that grounds for divorce too?
It could be possible, but you have to prove that harder than other cases.
I see.
Like how much, how often, and why it's so severe until you cannot live together.
So if you can't prove the grounds, what happened? So the divorce just cannot happen? Cannot happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you can, then how is, and then the court grants a divorce.
Yeah.
In this case, how is property distributed?
So in principle, the judge will say that everything, in case you have no prenuptial agreement, right? Everything will be separate 50%, 50-50 equally, okay? Except the land. Yeah.
Right. The land goes to the Thai spouse, just
exactly.
because as a foreigner you can't.
So the court will just give it quite broad and general, like order, like everything will be shared 50-50. Okay. So whatever and how to share, that is your problem in the future. If you cannot share 50-50, then you have another case. Followed by the divorce case. You got what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a follow case,
Right.
follow up.
It's a complicated business.
Yeah. It is.
So let's say if you divorce, whether it's mutual or you can prove grounds for divorce, if you don't have a prenuptial agreement, the court will default to 50-50. But if there is a prenuptial, so the court will just honor the prenuptial?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You would think, the court will take the prenuptial agreement into consideration.
Okay, I see. And so you provide services with prenuptial
we do
representation in court of divorce?
I have team, to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm not me personally, but I have team to do that.
Sounds good. All right, so now let's talk about how to protect your property's legacy with a Thai will. We'll talk about the best practices and issues to look out for. So, Khun Sirichot, as an attorney, a property lawyer, do you often deal with? With the will, Thai will, living will, succession, inheritance law. Okay, great. So you offer the service. But before we get into the details of that, let's actually talk about what happens if there is no will. What are the risks of not having a will?
Okay, for foreigner who has no assets in Thailand or just minimal assets in Thailand, there's no need to have a will drafted under Thai law. Okay, for example, like you just have a few 100,000 baht or less in bank accounts in Thailand, then there's no point to have a will drafted under Thai law. But if you have more assets, like for some foreigner who do like retirement visa, they must have at least 800,000 baht in their saving account, right? To me, that's quite a lot of money. So without having Thai will, then it will be distributed between your statutory heirs, which we don't know who they are and who will be survive at that time. For example, like the statutory heirs can be like the parents of the deceased, descendants, like children, kids, and then a spouse. So whether the parents still alive, whether they have any children, whether they have any legal spouse, if they have all, like they have parents still survive, 3 children, 1 spouse, so let's say 5, 6, so your assets will be distributed between the 6 people.
I see.
Yeah. So firstly, 50% of your assets after the marriage will be marital property. So 50% of your marital property will go to your wife, to your legal spouse, and then the remaining 50% will be as your personal property to be distributed between the 6 people.
I see.
In equal share.
So let's say 800,000 baht as an example.
Yeah.
400,000
to the
goes
wife.
to your wife because you've deceased,
Yes.
right? You don't have claim over that.
Yeah.
The other 400,000
Yeah.
is distributed within your statutory
Statutory heirs.
statutory heirs.
Yes,
I
heirs,
see.
yes.
That's in the event that there is no will.
ใช่
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, okay, if I do have a lot of assets and I'm very prudent about this and I come to you and I ask you, okay, Khun Sirichot, how can I structure a will in Thailand? What does Thai law allow? What can I do that will be advantageous where my legacy, where my intentions are honored?
Okay, so if you have a will, you can draft and specify. Otherwise, you don't have to give you can give like all of your assets to your wife or all of your assets to your children. Yeah, apart from the 50% marital property. Okay, so you can give this to your children, everything, or you can say that you want to give like this house to the wife, this condo to the kids, and the bank accounts to be shared between your 2 kids, something like that, or to your wife, and then some amount, maybe like a few 100,000 baht to your friends or to your maid or to charities. You can say something like that, except you cannot give to your dogs or pets.
But you give to human beings.
Yeah, all human beings
and
charities
and organizations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Organization. Yeah.
So can we say broadly that a will you can draft a will in a way that it honors your intentions, what you say, like if I just come to you and say, I want this go to here, go to here, go to here, and you're able to draft up a will that honors that.
Yes.
Where it either is given to human beings or organizations.
Yes. Also, you can also say that you don't want to give this to your parents or this of your kids. Maybe you have 5 kids and this kid is just like so bad. Yeah. So bad, and then you can say like, okay, I disinherit him from my estate. You can also say that.
Can. Okay.
And you can also say that how you want to set up your funeral ceremony and to arrange your dead body upon your death. You can also even say like, even for example, like your children or your kids are 20 years below. In case that you die at the same time with your wife, who will use the parental power over your kids.
Okay.
You can say that. You can also appoint who will be the executor to act on behalf of your estate. You can specify that in the will. I recommend that you have a will in every country that you have assets in. For example, like if you have assets in the US, in the UK, and Thailand, and some in Singapore, I recommend that you have a will in each country that you have assets, because I cannot guarantee that Thai will be enforceable in every country in the world.
I see.
Yeah, so I don't want to leave that room, for interpretation. So I would say the Thai will be valid and good and enforceable for all assets located in Thailand, in case there is a will drafted under Thai law. So your executor will have to find a lawyer to help you execute the will to get the motion from the court, and then you can distribute your estate in Thailand. A court judgment from overseas is not usable in many authorities in Thailand, many authorities, for example, like banks, they will ask you to get like the court order in Thailand to be able to act as the executor or administrator in Thailand. If you don't have court order from the judge, from the court in Thailand, then they won't let you know how much the deceased has in account.
This is if you don't get a lawyer to get the court order on all this stuff.
So the good point of the will is also that you can list all items or all assets that you have in Thailand. So because Thailand we do not have central database that keeps the information of someone's assets in Thailand. Like no one will know what I have in Thailand. So the only way that your beneficiary can track your assets is by listing all these items into your will. If you don't list this, your beneficiary wouldn't know how many banks you have, how many condos do you have, whether the condo that you are living is your condo or someone else, or you just rent out. You don't know. So you have to, it's quite difficult for beneficiary to know, without a Thai will.
So it sounds like without a Thai will, and if you don't tell people what you own, all these assets just get stuck in the bank. And what happens to it after
if you don't provide the list of assets that you have, including the banks, in case that no one knows that you have banks, then you die. It's likely that the bank will just keep it as secret, and then it's just like they don't leave you, and it's just like keep it like that.
Oh, that's too bad. No one can use it.
No one. And at the end, if it proves that you die like 10 years and then you have no living statutory heirs to claim your estate, it might either go to the bank or to Thai government.
Oh, don't want that to happen.
Why 800,000 a million is a lot of money, right?
Give it to your children, not the Thai government.
Or if not, even not your children, you can give this to charity, not to the bank, right?
Right.
Why?
They're already rich. Okay, so that's a reason why you should get a will, is to list everything and make sure everything is managed properly. Basically, making sure that your legacy and your intentions are carried through. Okay, so let's say they are carried through. Can you talk us about how inheritance tax works?
Okay, good thing is that there is inheritance tax, but it's very low. I mean, for the first 100 million Thai baht, it is exempted.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
For the first,
good to know.
First 100 million baht is exempted from tax.
That's about, it's about like almost $3 million.
And then after the 100 million, it will be taxable only over the 100 million. So either 5% or 10%, depending on your relationship with the deceased. If you are like descendants, like the parents or the kids of the deceased, then you will pay tax only 5%. But if you're just friend, you or organization, you pay 10%. Only the surplus.
I see.
Only for the amount that higher than the first 100 million.
So it still is very, very advantageous to get a will and have it passed on to these people and let them take care of the tax, whatever. It's still worth doing. Sounds good. Let's here address some overall concerns that foreigners may have about the rule of law in Thailand, because you may not be familiar with how things work here as it relates to property ownership. So one concern is about, if I have all these assets in Thailand, some are concerned that maybe suddenly the Thai government will pass a new law or act recklessly to seize property from foreigners. Honestly, is this a valid concern? The government seizing assets from foreigners?
In my lifetime, I never see. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
never see. We have many cool data many times, more than 10, about 20, right? I never hear that they like seize the assets of the foreigners.
And then, you're speaking from observation. You
Yeah.
said that in your lifetime you haven't noticed that happening. Maybe as a lawyer you don't want to comment on politically,
True.
but I'll comment politically. Is that, I mean, if the Thai government started seizing property from foreigners, I mean, that's basically economic suicide. Because Thailand wants in foreign investment. They're not going to take it away because then there's zero credibility whatsoever. So the Thai government, as military as they are, you may not agree with them, but they're not going to mess with foreign investment. That's my political view if you don't want to comment on that. But from your observation, there hasn't, apart from if it's like obviously illegal or whatever, or like gray area. But if you own it freehold, foreign quota, leasehold, or with a joint, whatever, they're not going to seize it.
No.
Hasn't happened. Okay.
Unless you are involved with money laundering activities.
Right. Yeah.
Dark
If you're a
dealers.
criminal and that
Yeah,
property
yeah.
was
Yeah,
obtained from
yeah,
crime.
yeah.
Sure. Okay. Now, here's another concern about going to court. Okay. One concern may be that they don't know whether Thai courts, there's a bias or not. Are Thai courts, Thai judges, would they by default favor the Thai person either just out of bias or some kind of racism or anything like that? Is this a valid concern?
No, I don't think so. I see many cases where, especially in like labor court, that the foreign employees still win the Thai employer, or in like property purchase, like the foreign buyer still win the Thai developer. Yeah. Or maybe like the patient they suffer or damages from Thai hospital, they still win the case against hospital.
Right.
So I don't think the Thai court will be in favor of Thai business or Thai national person. But for some cases, maybe like for family matters, the court may have some bias on women's side, whether Thai or foreigners.
Right.
Because the Thai court view that the women in a weaker position, and in Thailand they cannot make more money than the male party, and then they might have to take care of the kids. So in family cases, it could be the case that the court will a little bit more biased to the women party.
So back to this question, your answer is like, no, they're not. The court is not biased based on nationality, but they could be biased based on gender when it comes to marriage and divorce. They're still of the opinion that they want to side and accommodate more towards the female party, whether they're Thai or foreign. I see. All right. Now, there's also concern because Thailand, unfortunately, I'll comment on this, that the corruption in this country is pretty high. So people may make the connection of like, okay, I'm an outsider, a foreigner, I have no influence here. What if I go to court against an influential Thai person? Is there a risk that the Thai person can bribe the court or influence the court? So the court is not biased, but the Thai person is able to hold power over the court to rule in favor of that person. Is this a valid concern?
I never see from my experience, okay? But I don't know the authors, and I don't think it's possible. I mean, in normal circumstances, okay, in commonly, I don't think it's possible. But in some rare case, that's I don't want to interfere with those cases. Okay, I'm not a lawyer in that case. I don't know the background. I don't know whether it's true or not. I don't know anything, so I cannot give my comments on that. But I would say in normal cases, there's no bribery to. it's difficult. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
You cannot approach the judge in Thailand easily. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the judge in Thailand, they are in a higher level. Okay. Of like government officer, they get like quite a good income. So accepting some money, they don't want to ruin their reputation.
Yeah, and their whole career and all like that.
Exactly, because it's quite difficult to be a judge in Thailand and then to grow in the business, into their career.
You say it's even harder than being a doctor.
Oh yeah. It's quite difficult to be a judge in Thailand.
It's very selective.
Many exams and then many times. I mean, many tests to go through. Yeah, like finish law school, get the bar, and then get to be the judge. Yeah, you must be experienced for a while. Yeah, at least you must be very smart to be a judge in Thailand. Yeah. And then they get quite good income. Okay, so they don't want to ruin their reputation.
Right.
Just for small commission or bribery.
Yeah. Great. Khun Sirichot, this has been an amazing discussion again, very valuable. I hope this brought a lot of clarity to you as well. And if you want to utilize professional services from Khun Sirichot, you can see the link in the description, in the video description, or go to jetgunter.com. Khun Sirichot, thank you so much for this.
Looking
forward to the next discussion.
Yeah, my pleasure.